Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Studio Rats Live Q&A number. I've forgotten the number. Hang on. It's
60.
no, hang on. It's. I've actually forgotten the number. Come on, YouTube, catch up for me, please. Don't embarrass me too much. It's number 58, believe it or not.
Wow.
Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought we'd have stuck at it this long, or that you would keep coming back for more this long?
Who would have thunk that? Hey, and I'd like to know how the FA thought that it was a sensible idea to post a football match over an important event like the Studio Rats Live Q&A.
The FA, for anyone outside the UK, is the British Football Association, and it's a UEFA competition, Paul, which means it's done by Europeans. So the FA have nothing to do with it. You can see exactly how much we care about the football, because when I said to Paul, shall we delay till Thursday? He went, no, I've got cricket club. So quite frankly, we're here. We realise that an awful lot of you don't give two hoots about the football. Quite frankly, yes, Bruce Brooks, I'm with you. Screw the FA. And you don't give a monkeys about how England do in the Euros. It would be nice to have some national pride and as they say, bring it home.
No, I care. I do care. But can I just say the reason why why I'm not missing out on cricket is because Thursday night in cricket involves lots of beer.
What do you mean? Wednesday night for me. In fact, Wednesday night for us last week meant a lot of beer, didn't it? Surely.
Haven't you had enough over the weekend?
No.
Cut back?
A certain young man felt quite rough Thursday morning.
I did have a couple of beers. I did have a good few beers.
You did? Well, we both did. So welcome along to the Studio Rats Live Q&A. No stupid Gobo thing tonight, because quite frankly, I haven't actually unpacked from landing back from our weekend of cheerleading. If anybody wants to ask about that, they can do, and stuff. It's all good.
Keith says that we're interrupting Oprah and Dr. Phil in the States. Again, don't they know that the Studio Rats Live Q&A is on? Surely.
See, Oprah is a legend. I'll let her off on that one.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil couldn't give two hoots. Don't even know who that is. You know, no, I'm English.
Are we watching the footy? Have you got the footy on in the background, James?
I haven't, no, because the TV with the Sky stuff on is in the other room, and there's still
interested. I am interested.
I'm a little bit. You know, if we win, I will watch the final. At which point we'll probably lose, because I'll be watching. The reason we've come so far in the competition is because I'm not watching the football. It's a general rule.
I agree. I always think when I watch football, we always lose.
Anyway, so we are back from our exploits in Bournemouth, back in our own digs. Now, it could have been the fact that we had a girl appear in the show last week. It could have been the fact that we were all 7 or 8 sheets to the wind last week. But for some reason, we had 800 views last week.
Did we?
We had 800 views. Now, I can't work it out. I'm not complaining. If we have 800 views tonight, it'd be magnificent. But maybe we were more entertaining pissed. Who knows?
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the road to ruin, isn't it? It's just like, well, people only like us when we're drunk. So we're just going to be drunk all the time.
I will indeed drink to that.
I need to dry out. I need to dry out until tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is back on it, but must be the girl. It must be the girl. It must be the girl.
So let's have a quick shout out to all those who are joining us thus far. Safi is in the room. I've also posted the links to the show, so if you want to join us actually in the stream and come and say hello and have a chat and stuff and shoot the Pro Audio guitar or production breeze, please do come on and join us. You just need to have an iPhone or an iPad or a laptop, whatever, with a microphone and a camera. Come and join us and say hi. Bruce Brooks is also in the room. We've heard from him. Keith Axtell, you're interrupt. Yeah, we've heard from him as well. Ralph Ramon is in the room. Mike Pinion, great to see you all guys. I am expecting the British contingent to be light on numbers tonight, if I'm honest.
Very light. It's going to be.
But, you know, we've got Australia and America and all those other places that we know we reach out to on a fairly regular basis. So, yeah. Do I need to ask what you've been up to, Paul?
Well, do you know what? I came back. When did we come back? We came back
Monday
on
morning.
Monday. Monday was a write-off. I just
Yep.
thought I'm not doing anything. I'll get back into it Tuesday. Tuesday, I started doing a video, and it just wasn't working. I'd all day. You know, do you ever get those days where like you just feel like you've achieved nothing? And I'm sure I could have patched it together. So anyway, I really started again today, and I've done shot a video that's going out tomorrow. But anyway,
Cool, very cool.
all about compression,
Ooh,
guitar compressors and stuff,
nice.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, which
Best guitar, best bass compressor I've ever found is that Dark Glass bass compressor pedal.
Dark Glass.
It's awesome. I was equally nonplussed, I think is a great term, for yesterday. Didn't achieve very much.
Right.
I sort of ordered some flight cases, some more bits and pieces. What I always find from doing a Future Cheer gig is we get there and we're like 80% of the way there to the stuff we actually need. Then we have to borrow something or cobble something together. And I go, right, when I get home, hit Amazon, get all the things we need for that job. But the next time I turn up, we're always 85, 90% of the way there. So I've bought a load of flight cases and some more little converter blocks and some more cables and stuff that will just hopefully make our life that little bit easier on the next time.
Nice.
Until we make it more complicated again.
Can I just say, my opinion says, do you realise that the cast starts about 10 to 15 seconds before we get the notification?
The podcast, the actual broadcast goes live a little bit before, and I think that's to do with stability of stream, because what's it called? StreamYard we don't stream directly in to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. We stream into a thing called StreamYard, which basically allows us to do this sort of thing and have very low latency comms and all that sort of stuff. And it's StreamYard that takes the time to speak to YouTube and to Facebook. That's why it's a bit of a delay. Yeah. I have to also excuse myself. I've come back with a bit of a sore throat. That's nothing to do with COVID or anything like that. It's come to the fact that I've been shouting at people for 3 days, and then attempted to sing. More on that later. And I'm a bit ropey, bit hoarse this afternoon. So excuse me 1 second, because you don't need to hear that.
No, definitely not. We did though. Thanks for that.
You shouldn't. I'll turn my mic off. You shouldn't have heard it at all.
No, we heard that all in full volume.
That's impossible. I turn my mic off.
Oh my god!
Is my coughing that loud that I can reach the whole internet?
It was pretty loud.
I do apologise.
Okay, Stephen says, good day from Brisbane. Good day, Stephen. Bruce says, Paul, just remember that if there's any time you don't feel up to doing the live stream, you can have Jason Statham stand in for you. No one will notice the difference. Apart from he's slightly more buff than me, isn't he?
Yes.
We don't have to be so harsh, mate. You could have just said, no.
Sorry, but
I do try.
And I also think he charges more than you do, because I mean,
Probably.
two pints of lager and whatever it was we were drinking last week. That god awful 9% cider you were drinking.
Oh, that was nice. That was. I like that. That was nice. That was Aspels. That was nice. So if you've got any questions, bung them through. Be happy to answer anything.
Yep.
And as it's all a bit quiet at the moment, do you want to go on to? Why don't you keep an eye on questions?
Yeah, I'll do that, and we can talk about new toys.
Well, we can talk about new, stuff that's going on. By the way,
the one thing I will say is I've actually been doing some work today.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Because this is the thing, right? Everyone assumes, or shall I? How can I put this delicately? Some people in the industry assume that you can make a video on a product that you've never seen before. This, for me, is not the case. I need to learn the product. I need to go away. I need to work with it, because the only way to actually learn how to do something is to do a thing, isn't it? It's to do a project. It's to do a mix or an edit or whatever. So this little thing arrived a few days ago. This is the new UC1, the SSL plugin controller.
It looks cool.
Do you know what? It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
does it fit alongside? Is it the same form factor?
It's the same form factor, the same dimensions. If you have two UF8s giving you 16 faders and one of these in the middle, it's almost like a desk. Because you've got your center section, your bus compressor, and your EQ. Very, very cool. I haven't yet paired this up with a UF8, but do you know what? It's awesome. You get the two plugins with it that it runs. It runs the new SSL Channel Strip 2 and the SSL Bus Compressor 2. It's brilliant. It's really. I've done a whole mix using two plugins and some reverb.
Nice. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Nice. But yeah, it looks cool, doesn't it? It looks good.
It's good and solid and rugged. And actually, the thing I always hate generally about plug-in controllers is that because they're trying to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing's actually dedicated. Everything's kind of like you've got to check what the little screen next to it says for what it actually is. So you might go through 3 or 4 different EQs, and every time each knob might be a different parameter. Well, you haven't got that with this. It's all the same parameter because it's all the same EQ. So if you go through and go, right, I want to have the same EQ setting on 4 different channels, you set it up, and obviously you can copy the thing across. But you can actually just go copy, load, copy, load, copy, load, copy, load.
Nice. Okay.
It's really, really quick. I had a whole drum mix set up in about 5 minutes.
Nice. Nice.
And they've also got some really good celebrity endorsees doing the presets. And actually, it's not the usual suspects. And I'm going to go through and find out who the guys are. Hang on a second. I'm going to the channel strip. I'm going to producers. So you've got Adrian Hall, Clint Murray, Dan Austin, Dave Way, obviously Dave Way, and Ramesh. And Ramesh's presets are really, really good. If you don't know who Ramesh is, Ramesh Dodingoda, check him out. Producer on the rise in the kind of the internet world. Mainly in the kind of metal and heavy rock scene, but doing some great stuff. Really, really cool. And his presets for this thing are awesome. So, all good.
Okay, couple of questions.
Okay.
Bruce says, Paul... Oh, no, sorry. I've done that one. Stephen James says, the Blue guitar is a 100-watt amp, but the matching speaker cab is 60-watt. How can that be? I thought a cabinet needs to be higher wattage. That's interesting.
It is interesting. It might be because it's valve amp, isn't it? No, it's not. It's Class D.
It's Class D. I'm just trying to think because it's got 16 ohm and 8 ohm outputs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but you're better at this than I am.
But it also might be peak versus RMS values, which is very hi-fi kind of centric. I mean, that's a very, very small box for a proper 100-watt.
Oh, it's loud as hell, mate. It's as loud as hell. It's not like a 100-watt Marshall head. It's like a 30-watt head. Yeah.
Which is why it's probably to do with peak versus RMS. Don't quote me on that, but it would certainly make sense.
I wouldn't worry about it, Stephen. If that's the cab that's supposed to go with it, that's what they recommend. Honestly, the guy's a genius. He wouldn't put something with it that wouldn't work properly. But yeah, let's put it in perspective. It's not. It is more like the equivalent of probably. I mean, don't quote me on this. But if you had a 30-watt AC30 and this, that's probably more like it as opposed to. And it's as loud as hell.
Yeah, but that's down to its valve.
I don't know why.
I've always gone by the fact that valve watts are about 10 watts more than a digital watt, than a push or a push pull watt.
Yeah.
Transistor watts for some reason. I think it's because transistor watts tend to be rated as clean, and valve watts could be rated as, I don't.
I tell you what we should do, and in the comments, let us know if you want this. But shall we get Thomas Blug on the show?
That would be cool.
He can all of the questions that anyone's got about the Blue Guitar Amp 1.
Yeah. We can sit back, read them at him, and he can answer them.
That sounds great, doesn't it? So yeah. If you guys want to hear that, the guy's a genius. So it will be fascinating to hear, and also he's a incredibly well-known guitar player. So he's fantastic.
Mike and various others have already come back with Absolutely. I think
Okay,
that pretty
good.
much sums it
Okay.
up. Make
Mike's
that
saying
happen, buddy.
peak wattage.
I think that's what it is. I think it's peak watts versus RMS, and the RMS value is 0.66, the root mean square, effectively.
You just lost me. Anyway,
RMS root mean square.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's about 2/3, give or take.
Okay.
So that would make 60 watts about right, wouldn't it?
Do it again, James. When you coughing. Oh, that's funny. Maybe I'm hearing you differently, James. Maybe I'm hearing you through a different mic.
I'm going to put this thing on mute, and I'm going to keep talking. So I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to mute about 5 and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you hear them all?
I heard all of it. So
That's
I must be hearing you, and I must be hearing you
through the. Yeah, you must be hearing me through the mic, through the laptop mic.
Yeah, maybe that's what's happening.
That's very strange.
Okay, so Dave McQuillan says, "Evening, guys. Everyone looks a little fresher than they did last week."
We were a little bit. Well, to be fair, we've been running cables for about 6 hours, and it wasn't working till about 10 minutes before we went live. So that could, and of course, 6 pints of lager might have something to do with it.
Yeah, it was a good evening. Traitors Day.
Traitors Day being 4th of July. We were in the middle of a cheer competition, so as much as yes, we did have a good day, it wasn't the same day as I think you thought we would have had. We did finish fairly early though, which was nice, and without getting too boring, one of the biggest challenges about a cheer day is the monotony and the absolute relentlessness of a whole day. The only thing that keeps you going is the thought of something decent to eat at the end of it. And about a year ago, I decided to invest in probably the best piece of pro audio kit I have ever bought. And that is a slow cooker. So at 6:15 on Sunday morning, I was browning off beef and chopping onions and stuff, and then whacked it all in with a chili mix thing and some chilies and stuff. Whacked it all in this pot, left it for 14 hours and came home. And the Airbnb we were in absolutely reeked in the best possible way.
It was nice.
Of chili. It was awesome.
It was nice.
So that's one of the highlights. But yeah.
So Mike says peak wattage, and absolutely, I'm guessing that's
yes.
That's just to Mr. Blug.
Yes.
Steve, speaker efficiency. Yes, that would be great. Stephen James says. So
if we get him on, can I ask him if he's Blug dubba dee dubba die?
You can do. That's very good. Very good. Okay, should we do? Actually, Safety says, Paul, do you not like fuzz pedals? Have not seen any in your videos or recordings. Yes, for Thomas Blug, and an update on the Amp X. Yes, the Amp X is quite exciting. Do I like fuzz pedals? No, not really. To be honest,
I've got one.
I did do a fuzz pedal video. The what are they called? The Nordic company. I forgot the ones that Jack lent me.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
I've got a fuzz face, the Hendrix edition fuzz face, because I was doing a Hendrix video and someone said the way to get a Hendrix sound is a fuzz face and a what's the delay thing? The not I want to say mellotron, but it's not it's the wrong word.
Delay Hendrix sound.
Yeah. The Univibe. That's what I'm.
Oh, Univibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the sound I was going for.
I tell you what I hate. Forza, hope we see you next Sunday. Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Playing the Italians.
It would be very interesting.
Apparently they're the favourites, so I'm not holding out much hope. But going back to fuzz pedals, I don't like fuzz pedals because I don't like the unresponsiveness of a fuzz pedal. And do you know what I hate more than anything? Are those fuzz pedals that end up just breaking up. You know the sort of fuzz pedal that just sounds like sounds like a pedal that the battery's dying in. It just going.
That's a foot sound. Yeah.
I hate them. I just don't get it. I don't understand. And I listen to players play with the fuzz pedal and I go, oh, that sounds great. But I think it's when you're playing it, it's such an unusual experience for me.
I
It's not precise.
Yeah, it's one of those. I use it so rarely, the fuzz pedal. But when I play it, I go, oh, I quite like this.
Do
But
you?
I don't think I quite like it enough to always use it. But fuzz face are a big muff. It is a great noise used in the right way. I mean, Eric Johnson makes the fuzz face sound amazing.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, so that's it. Maybe I need to find the right fuzz. But I mean, I did, I might have told this story before, but I did we have a TV star in England called Alan Carr. And
hello.
And I did the theme music for his last TV show. And I did the theme music as I thought they would have wanted it. And the producer came back and said, no, it's too rock. Can you make it less rock? And I was thinking, what do they mean? Because they wanted it like distorted guitar, and I thought they want fuzz. So replaced all the guitars with a fuzz guitar with all these different fuzz guitar parts, and they loved it. But yeah, it's funny. It is funny how certain people perceive fuzz as cooler, probably than distortion and overdrive.
I wrote the music for a video that we broadcast over the weekend. And Jen said, "Oh, was that the tune, the Pink Floyd-esque tune?" I went, "Well, okay." I personally say that as a massive compliment. If someone's going to say my writing sounds like Pink Floyd, I'm like, "Great, that's no problem." But I do tend to write with quite a Gilmour-esque sound,
right?
Mainly because I haven't got very good. I can't play all those clever fiddly fast notes that you guys play. Yeah, I tend to not go for a fuzz sound over a nice kind of Richie, bluesy, martially sound.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Bruce says power ratings are greatly exaggerated. They will rate a powered monitor at 1,000 watts peak maybe, but only for a few milliseconds. Actual real power might be 100 watts if you're lucky. That's really true. I had I bought the Friedman powered cab.
Yeah,
it was a wedge, huge thing.
Yeah,
12-inch speaker and a horn. Designed for sticking a Kemper into on stage, and this thing was horrible. It weighed a ton, and that was 800 watts. I think it was. It didn't compete with the drummer.
It's because I've seen so many. It also goes by brand as well. I mean, unless we're stepping a bit away from valve watts, guitar watts versus PA watts, but certainly if you buy. Okay, let's bring it back to guitar for a minute. So the Headrush, powered monitor is rated at 1,000 watts.
Yeah,
there is no way that is a 1,000 watt box. No way on this earth. There is no way they put 1,000 watt amplifier in that box for 300 quid or whatever the hell. I've got some powered QSC PA tops.
Yeah.
Which are 1,000 watts, and they cost best part of 1,000 quid.
Yeah,
that's when you know you're paying for the watts. What you're getting is at the RMS value or the peak. I've heard the peak music power (PMP) was the phrase in the 80s for stereos. It's got 1,000 watts PMP, 20 watts consistent. Right. Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah,
the only real way to find out what wattage something is to have a look inside at the electronics. It's a bit like cars. Lamborghini will always say their car does 260 miles an hour. It might have never ever done 260 miles an hour, but they'd love to think it could.
No, I think with cars, I think it has to. It has to on a perfect. But they've driven it on a perfect track.
Yeah, on one day when the wind was behind them.
Possibly.
And he just had a wee, so it was nice and light, with nothing else in the car, on a minimal fuel load. Yeah.
Here we go. So Bruce says it has a lot to do with power supply and how long it can sustain the peak voltages. Oh, interesting.
There you go.
You get what you pay for.
Very good. I like that, Jeff. I like that a lot.
Oh, Shahar Bar is in the house.
Now we're going
to get some. What sort of comments to Shahar?
Friendly banter.
Friendly banter, absolutely, absolutely. Friendly banter. Sometimes on the verge of naughty.
cheeky banter.
Cheeky.
So, cheeky banter.
Welcome, mate.
So, Paul, you have been scouring the interwebs for the last 2 weeks. We had a whole list of stuff last week to get through, but we were a bit sidetracked, weren't we?
Yeah. So, can I just say before we go into the stuff that I found, you're too kind, he says. Before we go into all the stuff that I found, I spoke to Keith Extall earlier. Keith earlier up in the comments.
Yes.
And Keith was saying, has James found a 335 yet?
Not yet.
Are you still looking for a 335?
I'm still looking for a 335.
Well, let me show you something. This is what Keith found for you.
Oh.
Share my screen.
Oh, this is going to hurt, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not going to hurt, mate. This is good. You ready?
If it's a Harley Benton, I can't on principle.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
Oh. Is that a Sire? Sir,
yeah. Sire, yeah. So you know the Marcus Miller company?
Yes.
You know, so this is the Sire Larry Carton H7.
Very nice.
Which one do you like, mate? Which one?
I actually like the top middle, the two-tone burst. Yeah.
Little tobacco burst.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that. It's got the 60s inlays, which are nice.
Yeah.
It's got a nice looking headstock.
It's got a Gibson-esque headstock. They'll be in trouble for that, probably.
Well, no, it isn't so Gibson. I'm looking to see what Gibson wants. It is quite similar, actually, isn't it?
It is quite similar, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a nice looking headstock. Great.
It's not as ridiculous as those. What's the one that everyone's been going on about? You say, oh, you have to get those, but the headstocks look Heritage. The headstocks look horrible.
That is just that's exactly what me and Keith and I were talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it's nice, isn't it? It's got a nice.
It's very nice.
Oh, that's great.
That's gorgeous for not.
Now, the only thing for me,
right,
is you've got an Epiphone 335.
Yeah,
I've got no doubt that this is a million times, or this is definitely better. I've got no doubt about that. But do you want another Far Eastern build?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Or do you want like a proper 335?
The guitar snob in me wants a real 335.
Yeah.
I mean, that if I didn't have a close approximation already, because let's face it, Epiphone were at the time of that guitar owned by Gibson.
Yeah.
At the time of, I mean, that guitar is 25, nearly 30 years old now.
Right.
So for a copy, it's getting on a bit. But if I was in the market for a cheaper, I mean, I think even that cost like 25 years ago. That thing cost like 400 quid.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a cheap guitar.
No.
Which is why it's still around and still sounds good and still plays nicely and etc. But there is the snob in me that wants a real one.
See, that's the thing. That's always my thing about guitars. It's also that resale value.
Yeah.
If you go and buy like a 335
for $2,000, it's going to be $2,000, if not more, when you sell it. If you sell it.
Oh, you're never gonna. I don't think you'll get a 335 for $2,000.
I know. I was wishful thinking for a minute.
Let's have a look.
No way in a million years.
There you go.
That first one is nice, though, isn't it? The three.
For me, I'd always go for the red. I'd always go
cherry
for the
red.
Cherry. I'd always go for the cherry. But the 335s are expensive. Okay, there's one there for $3.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I like that color. I like that OST.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Nice. Are they custom shops? Oh, that's Murphy Lab ones. Oh, okay.
That's why they're expensive.
Okay.
But still,
the standard 335 is 2.6.
Yeah.
With dot inlays.
That would do.
Yeah.
That would do quite nice. I don't like what I refer to as the Back to the Future 335. Even though I know. And technically, in the year that Back to the Future was supposed to be set, that guitar hadn't been created yet. I know all that. It's like, from a drumming point of view, if you ever watched the film The Craze with the Kemp twins?
Yeah.
There's a bit in it when they're in their club, which is actually the Rivoli Ballroom in South London.
Right.
And the drum kit he's playing is a Yamaha Power V from 1986.
Please tell me you don't ever say to your wife when you're watching that film, now. That I've done it. I've actually done that, and she's looked at me and gone, not your wife, obviously.
No. So I can tell you the two most nerdy moments in audio and in tech I've ever had.
Go on.
I was in a club in Greece with a mate of mine, and we were significantly younger, and I was in a club in Greece, and I was chatting to this girl, and a tune came on. I was like, there's something wrong here. And my mate took over chatting to her, and I said out loud, I said, one of these speakers is out of phase, and you have never seen two girls vanish so fast in your entire life.
But it's a horrible thing, isn't it? Like speakers that are out of phase. Oh man, I feel your pain on that actually.
Yeah.
And if a girl didn't appreciate, she wasn't the one for you.
She wasn't the one for me. The other time is if I walk into a club now with my wife.
Yeah.
And the first thing I normally do is this.
I can't see, mate. All I've got is a screen. I can't see.
I'm looking up in the air. I'm looking at speakers.
Should I unshare?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm looking at. I'm sticking my eyes to the ceiling,
right.
And I'm looking at speakers and lights. She says,
"Oh no."
Yeah, and that's why I love you, because you're never going to go off with another girl, because quite frankly, your face is up in the sky looking at the toys, and I'm like, yeah, but they've got some pretty lights.
Right. Okay. So.
Right.
You're still in the mood for a 335 then, yeah?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Okay. Now, I've got to show you.
Mate, that's not a 335?
No, it's not. It's a sort of a Gibson copy, but this is some Australian dude.
Right.
Right. I'm not going to play all of it because it's quite long. But basically, what he decided to do was to get his kit off, apart from his pants and a pair of Converse, and just do a gig in his front yard. I actually don't think it's his front yard, which is actually the problem. And this is what happens. I'm going to forward on a couple of bits.
Good to see the old Bill have turned up.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what happens. So the old Bill turn up. Here we go.
The Rozzers.
Basically, they take his. Hold on, let's find. Here we go. So basically, he starts playing a bit of guitar to him.
Hey, buddy, that's not your property. Now, please take a form. Please take a form and let's come here. Take a form. Please take a form. Excuse me. You cannot.
But the bit that I love about that is the fact that someone has switched his guitar off, but he was still playing and still getting into it.
What's also quite funny is that he's obviously in nothing but his cacks.
Yeah.
And there's a guy coming in a puffer jacket. In Australia, he must be absolutely sweating his nuts off.
Yeah. But look, so he gets properly arrested. Anyway.
There's puffer jacket boy.
I thought that's quite good. Also, comedy.
It doesn't get me any closer to my 335, does it?
It doesn't really, no. And are there any questions that you want to be as we're going along?
To be honest, I got slightly sidetracked by the bug in his pants.
Whatever you're into, mate.
Let me just dive in here. Shahar Bar says, Paul and James, I've watched many a Pink Floyd video and always thought I should really get a pedal steel. Have either of you guys got pedal steels or pulled the trigger to buy one? That's from Shahar Bar. I haven't bought a pedal steel, but I do have. Hang on, where is it?
I can't see. Shall I unshare? Because I cannot see anything.
Unshare. Yeah, okay. For a moment.
Okay, hold on. We'll go back. We'll go back in.
That's quite. I do have a lap steel. I don't have a pedal steel. I bought a Gretsch lap steel for exactly that reason, and it was 400 quid, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I can play about 3 things on it, and that's about it.
Can I just
occasionally I'll do a kind of distorted kind of big risey thing, which sounds really cool on it.
Can we have a round of applause, please? It doesn't work. It's not working. Oh, maybe I just can't hear it. It is
working.
Oh, okay.
It is working.
That's funny. I wonder why I can't hear that. Thank you so much, David Olson, for your kind kind gift. Hold on. Evening, gents. I can't take the stress of the match. Have a fruit-based cocktail for the lady on me. Hope you're well and you weren't hanging last Thursday morning. Cheers, David. That's very kind.
He certainly was. He was hanging
properly in a bad way on Thursday morning. That's very kind of you. Thank you, mate.
My opinion also says Gretsch Electromatic a really clean 335.
But it's still Electromatic.
It's still a copy. It's still a wannabe.
Yeah, it's either got to be a proper Gretsch.
Yeah, like a proper, like your one.
Yeah. Hate to be snobby on that. Okay, Mikhail says, check out for Gibson 335 Satin. They're slightly cheaper and they sound great. That's interesting. You don't want a satin one?
No. It's got to be a cherry red or tobacco burst.
Yeah, but satin can still be, that could be like a satin finish. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be. No?
I'm not sure.
He's not saying blonde.
No, the thing is, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to walk into a shop one day and they'll have one and I'll fall in love. And that's what I need. That's what has to happen with me in guitars.
Right.
I'm very much an impulse buyer. If I see something I like, I'll buy it. Whether it's the right color or it will feel right. My Strat felt right, and it felt a lot better after you changed the strings.
Yes, that was.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was.
My telly was the same. My jazz bass was the same. I had money to spend on what I thought could have been better instruments, but those are the ones that stood out as the ones that I liked on the day.
Bruce says, Shahar Bar, I used to dabble in pedal steel, had a double neck 12-string MSA, weighed a ton, and it takes a lot of practice. I do love to watch it, though. It is an amazing thing.
It's amazing. It's the legs and the knees and the feet and the swapping from, oh, man. Just
clever stuff, isn't it?
If you watch someone like Paul Franklin,
right,
the guy who played with Dire Straits.
Oh, right,
oh, my God.
I didn't see. I wasn't that keen. I don't like it when it's too country.
Who's the guy who plays with Sting? Is it PJ Cole? PJ Cole plays with Sting.
Right.
Amazing. And it's really tasteful. It's not the Dire Straits thing. Obviously, Mark Knopfler's wandered into country over the years.
Yeah.
But the Sting thing was still very much, this is just cool.
Yeah.
And it's those big swelling chords that all move in parallel,
and
yet don't move in parallel because they're tuning each string with a knee or a thigh or a toenail. Oh man,
messes my head. Yeah, amazing stuff. Sean Aaron says that's a new name. Welcome, Sean.
It is.
I bought a Roland Cube and I'm running a Beat Buddy in stereo through two Boss EQ pedals. Left output of the BB runs into a GEB7 pedal and then right output into guitar EQ pedal. Will this hurt the Cube?
Shouldn't do.
No, mate. No, you'd be all right with that. When you say BB, Beat Buddy.
Yeah.
No, Beat Buddy. No, as long as it's not powered output, you'll be fine, mate.
And as long as you're not driving it to the point where the Roland Cube, there are several Roland Cubes. There's the keyboard cube, the guitar. I think there was a guitar cube and certainly a bass cube. You should be all right unless you're trying to get like 10,000 watts of peak bass out of the kick drum type sound. You should be fine. I've done much worse on gigs. I had a 12-watt Marshall, which I used to use for the top end with reverb, and I had a PV bass amp, which I used to use for the rest of the sound, and that was my PA for my first bands. It was awful, and we used to run guitar and bass through them at the same time. It was horrific, but it got us through somehow.
Yeah. So again, thank you to David Olson. Very kind of you. Keith Axtell says 339s are in the $2,000 range. 339s are nice.
Is that the slightly smaller one?
It's a smaller one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bigger Les Paul, but that's it's one of those. If I went out going guitar shop shopping, I said I'm going to buy a 335. I'd come back with an Explorer or something completely like you. I'm going to buy a PRS, and he comes back with a Les Paul.
I'd come back with something different because something else would just take my fancy at the time.
Yeah.
I should have bought that Brian May when we were in Guitar. I shouldn't have faffed around with it. I should have bought the bloody thing. But no, loser.
Safety says, do you not think Comet from Harmony Guitars is also a quite valuable, viable opinion for a 335? I haven't seen the Comet.
I don't know those. No.
Well, definitely. Well, shall I check it out? Shall I just get one up on screen, then we can have a little discussion?
And we can pull it apart and yeah.
No, well.
There was do you know? There's been a few times in my life when I've been guitar shop shopping and I'd wish I'd had a couple of quid on me.
Yeah.
Or a credit card.
That's really cool.
Once was when I saw a look of Music Man Luke for sensible money, and I should have bought it.
Yeah.
I saw the ultimate Gary Moore Les Paul, and I should have bought that.
Yeah.
And I saw a 335 once that I fell in love with, and I went, I should have bought that then. But just go on, show me, share with the world.
Okay. It's I need to do this first. Then I need to share the screen.
Yeah.
This one, share. There we go.
Nah.
Oh, I like that. I think that's super cool.
Nah, it looks like something Dave Grohl play.
It does look like something Dave Grohl play, but what's wrong with that?
Fender headstock on a Gibson body. No, it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Well, you could sort of, but an Explorer's got a pointy headstock, isn't it?
Yeah, but an Explorer's an Explorer. I'd have an Explorer in a heartbeat. And he also looks like that. The guy looks like those curtains are part of his hat. It's like it's coming down off his hat. He's so perfectly in the middle.
I like it. Shall I do some more as we're here?
Yeah. Carry on, crack on.
Right.
There we go.
Okay. Ingve Malmsteen says, I don't follow trends. If anything, I make trends. See,
okay, Ingve.
Like Ingve, he had like a couple of years of not being a dick. He had like 2 years where he wasn't being a dick, and now he's coming back in full force. What is the guy?
I've got an Ingve album, and I've only got it because a mate of mine was his tech for years, and it also had Cozy Powell on drums, which was awesome. Yeah. But I mean, you've got to like your melodic and harmonic minors for some to Ingve, and your Lydian and Mixolydian modes.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's just like it's more the comment that I was talking about. It's just I mean, for God's sake,
the guy just stop speaking and play guitar.
Please stop speaking. Right. Shall I go through them now?
Please.
Now we got rid of the comedy.
That is nice.
It's cool, isn't it?
It's pretty.
So these are the new Kiesel 75th anniversary. Can you believe that Kiesel or Carbon?
Yeah.
75 years.
Crazy, isn't it?
They look great, didn't they? How nice do they look? Can I make them bigger? I can do this.
I would play that.
Really
I'd probably play it badly, but I'd play that.
Yeah, I'm starting to quite like headless guitars.
Why did they change their name? Because everyone knew who Carvin were. Was it because Carvin amps?
Could have been. I don't know. I think Carvin was associated with
Sure for a long time.
Yeah, I think maybe Carvin started as quite a good sort of boutique company, and then it became like, oh, they do lots of different things.
Mm.
And it wasn't just amplifiers. I even think they did PA at one point.
I had some Carvin PA amps, and they were amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, really nice, aren't they? And I don't know how much they cost.
A lot, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're not going to be cheap.
That's a £4,000 guitar, isn't it?
I reckon 3 to 4. Yeah, it's got
the tops alone make those beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They're
really
gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. This I thought was interesting.
Ooh.
So you know the old Sovtek amps.
Mm-hmm.
You know the old Russian.
Yes, that are amazing, but you can't get them for love nor money. And if you can find them, they're £1 million.
Yeah. So Electro Harmonics reissuing them under their name, calling it the MiG 50.
Nice.
All tube. I think it was a Softec MIG, wasn't it? I think it was actually called a MIG.
Yes, it was the. Yeah, I can't remember the actual name, but that sounds about right.
But yeah, so price to be announced, but it's Electro Harmonics. It's not going to be that much, I don't think. And yes, basically, if you're looking for, like a Fender Bassman sort of sound,
that's going to be a very serious contender, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Because finding a real Bassman these days is painful.
Yeah. Well, finding a good one, I think, is painful. Definitely.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's that. Let's get rid of these as I'm going along. Actually, this I thought was.
What the heck is that?
Well, we've all been waiting for the way that we can rehearse or record in our own houses with other people.
Okay. This is a company claiming to have solved the latency problem, have they?
Yeah. So they've got the latency down to ridiculous levels where you don't notice it.
And it's called an elk.
It's called an elk, which is the only thing that's really interesting, though.
I'd love to try it. I would love to try it, because if it does work, they have solved the number of times. My old man is not a technical person.
Yeah.
He's 74. Of course, he's not technical. He plays a violin for a living.
Right.
The number of times he said, "Why can't I just put my phone down in front of me and we all listen through our phones?"
Yeah.
And I've said, "Dad, that was done in a Vodafone advert about 30 years ago, and no one believed it then. So why start believing it now?" No, I'd love it to work. I'd really love it to work. It's almost like, I really hope that COVID is starting to go away. It's almost like stable door, horse bolted. If this had come out 18 months ago, I think they would have just been, even if it had been an okay solution, I think they would have just cleaned up with it.
I hear what you're saying. Yes, but I still think this is a really interesting thing.
I think it's very interesting, and I'd love it to work, and I'd love to try it.
But yeah, if they had to come up with it 18 months ago, you're right. It would have changed everything.
Even if it had been okay, and you'd been able to cope with it, it's got to be brilliant now. And if it is brilliant, then I'll buy one instantly, and I think you probably will as well.
Oh,
and
I mean, how good would that be? How good would it be so I could be in my studio, and then we could have people around the world
jamming with us?
Oh my God, it'd be amazing. It wouldn't, and honestly, it would negate having to go to a rehearsal studio. You could be in your own place. You could have, your own, all your setup around you, so you've got everything you need. It'd be amazing.
No more, oh shit, I didn't bring that pedal.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Absolutely amazing if it works.
So elk, send us a couple, because we'll try it out and we'll make.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm trying to think if you've got any. I don't know who they're with, who's doing the distribution, but maybe
I could use and abuse them.
I think
send me a link and I'll
yeah, we'll do.
Don't delete that one just yet. Don't bury it.
Do you know who Jay Mascis is?
No.
Guitar player from Dinosaur Jr. I was never really a massive fan, but I think that looks pretty nice.
Looks like a blue telly.
Well, it's a sparkly blue telly with a chrome guard. That looks great.
Well, it just looks like a telly.
It looks like it's got a bit of a bent neck. Got a bit of a problem.
I think that could be the picture, but I know what you mean. Do you know when someone says, "Oh, I've put my own pickups in it, and I've made it my own timbre," and boring.
Right, yeah. But
I've done another telecopy. Great. I think Fender did that. It's called the Telecaster. Sorry, I sound very negative this evening.
Negative. What's the matter with you today? You're negative.
Not enough sleep.
Okay. Sir have brought out the analog delay, the ultimate boutique delay.
That I like.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, you see, he's been all positive now.
Yeah,
I like it.
Because it's something different. I appreciate that analog delays happened around before, but it's a new direction for Sir, as far as I'm concerned. They haven't done pedals before.
Yes, they have. Yeah, they've done loads of pedals. Yeah, okay. Done loads of compressors and
in that case, it's boring.
Drives and that sort of stuff.
I'm joking.
What's that?
So, in that case, it's boring then. No,
No.
that looks cool. That looks cool in a kind of Roland Space Echo kind of way.
It does, yeah. I like the vintage look of it.
Yeah.
I like the what sort of screen is that? Is that an OLED?
Yeah.
Whatever they call that.
LED type thing.
Yeah.
8-bar
cool.
thing. Yeah, very cool.
Cool, doesn't it? Price $549 though.
We were saying earlier, weren't we, about plugin, the price of plugins. Actually, you'd probably pay a couple £100 if that's a plugin. To have it as a piece of hardware, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, okay, agreed. I can see one of the reasons why I wouldn't buy it. It's only got one output.
Mono output. Oh
Mono
dear.
output. I know. Come on.
Oh, come on, boys and girls. Even my TC stuff's got stereo outputs.
Yeah. It needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be stereo for me to buy it.
Fail. Wah, wah, wah,
Okay.
wah, wah.
It can't be a Studio Rats live Q&A.
Without a Harley Benton product.
Harley Benton have released the Fusion 3 series with 5 new models. Again, they look great, but that looks like that's a real sort of.
It's a super strat. It's another.
It's a Sir copy.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like the Pete Thorne model. That one there.
I'm sure they're great guitars, and I'm sure they play really nicely. But come on, come up with something original.
Yeah, but maybe that's their thing. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe their thing is well, look, these guys are doing the boutique version of this. This is going to cost you, near enough $4,000 to buy, and we're going to make the version that costs you £400.
I'd love to actually get hold of some of these guitars and go, right, here's the $4,000 one, here's the £400 one. What does the price difference make?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I'd love to do that. The problem is you'd never get a brand to let you have the instruments, because either the super expensive guitar would be embarrassed into the fact that it's not worth $4,000, or Harley Benton would go, yeah, there's no way we can keep up with that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And
But
there's no way they try and compete.
But I think they look good. I think that's. I mean, that looks like a Sir. If you sort of cross off the headstock,
yeah,
and you said to me, "What is that?" I'd have said that's a Sir.
The thing is, though, you ask me. Say this is now with my education hat on, because I do teach quite a bit in kind of rock school type scenarios. Ask me what guitars most kids turn up with.
Epiphones
Or
Squires.
Epiphones or Squires.
Right.
Because they do what we all did. What they actually want is a Fender Strat or a Les Paul. And they go, well, music shops go, well, you could have the real thing for £1,000, or you can have the fake, the alternative by the same brand, like, for £300.
Do you think kids are still doing that? Do you think kids still want a Fender or a Gibson, or do you think they want something that's a bit more pointy?
The number of times I've said, why did you buy that telly? Oh, because it's a Fender, isn't it? It's trying to be a Fender. That kids still see their guitar heroes most of the time, and I mean their guitar heroes as in the poster boys. I don't mean the YouTube guys who are around now, the YouTube legends who are basically playing guitar amazingly. I mean the poster boys. I mean the Slash and the Eric Claptons and those guys. They're still looking up to those guys and going, I want a Strat, a Telly, or a Les Paul.
Yeah, fair enough.
We had one guy turn up with a Tony Iommi SG, which is, but it's still a 4-figure Epiphone.
Right, nice.
It's a beautiful guitar. I went, you could have had a Gibson for that, and he went, I know, but I wanted the Tony Iommi one.
Nice. That's nice, mate. It's always nice to tell a kid they could have had something else.
Well, he was a knob.
Right. Okay. So what is this? This is Gear News have done like the best guitars for under €500.
Right. Okay.
Harley Benton, Court, Fender Squire, Fender Affinity. It is. Oh, I like that one though.
Is that an Esquire? Because it hasn't got the front pickup.
Like that a lot. Do like Esquires.
Do you know, I was watching just to give props to another channel. I was watching 5 Watt World yesterday
Oh
on
yeah,
the
yeah. It's good
on the
job.
Jazzmaster. And do you
Right.
know what? At the end of that, I was doing a lot of surf guitar with our buddy Rex,
Yeah, yeah.
and I thought, do you know what? Actually, a Jazzmaster, that is the ultimate surf guitar, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
After watching that, I thought, do you know what? I could go one of those in the studio. I'd like that.
But they are then. That's what you need to go and buy.
I'll end up buying a PRS or something because I watched the PRS. I watched the history of the 5 Watt World history of PRS before we came on tonight.
Oh yeah.
I thought actually that's very interesting as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. PRS are great, without a doubt. Okay, so yeah, there's that. I mean, it wasn't one. I just thought it was funny that everything was
Everything's Harley Benton.
And I'm wondering why. And I'm wondering if the reason why we keep talking about Harley Benton every week is because Gear News is sponsored by Harley Benton.
I wonder.
Maybe we shouldn't. Okay.
But the truth of the matter is,
Yeah.
they're making good stuff.
Yes, they are making good stuff. It's very true. Okay, Way Huge have released the STO, which is a super smooth overdrive pedal. It's based on the Noble's ODR1. Do you know
Yeah.
that? Do you know that?
Do. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's good that someone's done this. Price-wise, $149, £139.
Yeah.
Great.
It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Yeah, looks cool as well. I like that.
Be
a lot.
another flavour for your overdrive selection.
Yeah, another flavour from overdrives, which are all basically the same. So there's that. This I thought was amazing, and you might like this. This is
Wow.
€222 for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 channel digital desk. It's 16 channel. It's a 16 channel digital mixing desk with motorized faders, James, for €222.
It's either going to be basically a Yamaha 01V in drag, or it's going to be shocking. And let's face it, the 01V wasn't great.
Well, it was all right. It was all right. But the thing is, so it's just been reduced from €629 to 222. Now, I think that's a bargain. If someone's looking for a small mixing desk,
is that an iPad on the top?
no, I don't think so. I think that's his own screen.
Right. Okay.
But how good is that?
It's got plenty of I/O.
So limited time only. So if you want one, grab one quick.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're right. Okay, I thought
I'm
you'd
all
like
right.
that.
I do like it, but I don't need another desk in my life.
Right. Lastly, Flammer FS07 cab, bargain priced IRs for your pedal board. So this is an IR loader pedal, and it is. Where's the price? It is ridiculous. $88.
That's good.
Isn't that good?
If it's any good, well, how can it not be? An IR is an IR. It'll be great.
Yeah, and I can see. I don't know if it's true, but I can see two outputs there.
That'd be nice.
So is that going to be stereo IRs? Can you load two IRs?
Aren't most IRs stereo?
No, most IRs are. I mean, I don't know of any IRs that are stereo. Actually, I only know mono IRs. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure there are some.
Yeah.
But yeah, how good is that?
Interesting.
And they even do a little preamp pedal as well. So you can do a preamp pedal into that.
That's cool.
Little mini rig.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'm coming off. That's it. That's me done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, some good finds in there. I mean,
Yeah.
Harley Benton will be thanking us once again.
Probably right. So
you know who owns Harley Benton, right?
You don't tell me. Oh, yeah, it's
No.
Toman. Sorry, it's
Toman. Yeah, Toman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
it's not the guy whose name we shall not utter.
We cannot say it.
We can't.
So where are we? Those 335 copies. This is Bruce. Are nice, but for a few dollars more, you can get a used Ibanez AS 103 or something similar, which is fast.
I have been looking at the Ibanez, either the Pat Metheny's or the what's his name, George Benson's.
Nice, yeah, nice.
Great guitars.
Shahar Bar says, "Show it."
We did.
We did.
We
Good.
did.
Thanks, Mike. Mike's clapping. Mike Pinion says, "Obviously, you haven't heard an Electromatic. Great."
I have heard the Electromatics, but obviously I've heard my Epiphone. My Epiphone is a great guitar, but it doesn't have a Gibson logo on the top. It has an Epiphone logo, and I'm a snob.
Yes, but the Electromatics are great, without a doubt.
They are really. I've played the what's the big orange one, the Chet Atkins equivalent.
Well, that's a Country Gent.
That's the one. Yeah, I've played the Electromatic one of those and went, this is a great guitar.
Oh, I didn't know.
And
That.
then-
Are you
and
sure
then
that's Electromatic? You sure?
I'm sure I'm sure it was the cheaper range.
Nice.
And I wanted it, but I didn't want it as much as I wanted the real thing.
Interesting. Bruce says that he had a mild stroke about 8 years ago. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. And lost enough of my left leg as to where I couldn't work the pedals properly anymore. Switched over to lap steel. Wow. I'm sorry you went through that, Bruce. But
Wow,
great to know that you found a solution that you could still play.
lap steel as well. I mean, it is again. It's not quite the minefield that is, and I say minefield rather than minefield, that pedal steel is. But what a great noise! What a fantastic noise when you do it right. And I'm not doing it right. That's for sure.
Sean Aaron says, "Cool, thank you guys. It's the Cube Street X. Is that the stereo one?"
If it's a street, it's the battery powered one. It's tiny.
Okay.
You might struggle with the bottom end from the Beat Machiney thing,
but that's what it's designed for. It's designed to have lots of different things going through it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you'd be fine, mate. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about blowing it or anything. I wouldn't worry about that. Steve says a Yamaha SA 2200 is about £1,600.
The Yamaha guitars are great. Really good.
Really good.
I know the other guitar that always shows up at rock schools is Pacificas. Because they're great guitars.
They are really good.
Anybody who loves Steve Vai buys a Pacifica because they can't afford an RG or a Gen.
Interesting. Alexander Knutson says, do you guys have any favourite chains that you tend to lean on for recording pop rock electric guitars?
Yes.
Interesting. Go on, you go first.
2 mics will be a 57 or a variant thereof.
Yeah.
And a ribbon, normally a Sontronics because that's what I've got. Or actually, all the Roya R10 is a beautiful mic. Normally running into my Neve 1073s because I've got Neve 1073s, but the preamp's not the important bit. Then running it into an 1176 of some kind. And in my case, it's the Warms, and that's my chain for guitars. And the compressor is there to do about that much. Just wiggle the needle occasionally. It's not for compression, it's for tone.
I'd use. I do have a chain. I don't have a set chain, but if I'm using an amp, I would almost always use a load box, something like the UA Ox Box or the Tunex Torpedo Studio or the Boss Tube Amp Expander. Brilliant things, and it means that I can get recording quality tones without having to mic anything up. And for me, they sound better because I haven't got the space to crank up 100-watt Marshall to get the sound I want out of it. I want to go into a load box, attenuator type thing, and just get the tone out of it. Occasionally, what I'll do is if I've got an amp that I really want to mic up, I'll go into something like the Tube Amp Expander, which I've got over there, crank the amp up, and then attenuate it down.
Yeah.
So the power amp valves are cooking, and then mic up a fairly quiet speaker, fairly quiet. You can talk over it, and that to me sounds great as well. But for me, and you have to drive an amp hard.
Yeah. And for cabinet wise, I use the Grossman cabinet, the Quiet Cab.
Nice. Yeah.
So it means I can drive it ludicrously loud, but not offend my neighbours. Nice.
Bruce says, to me, players like Ingve are all technique and no soul.
Amen, brother. But
yeah, he's definitely an amazing player, but he knows it as well. I can't. For me, ego is.
I get bored. I get bored.
Ego is such an unattractive trait.
Yeah, Paul, sort it out.
I haven't got an ego. Family issues, they were all the same. They were the same. See, this is why you need to read out questions when I'm doing the things, because
Keys on carving. Family. Cool. No, mate, it works for everybody else who has a memory.
I know, but I'm having to deal with everything. You're just sitting on your batty doing absolutely nothing.
I'll have you know I'm drinking beer.
Drinking beer. So that's what I'm talking about. I've got to ask all the questions and deal with all of the visual stuff. You can see that there's a little tiff going on here.
How very dare you?
Right. And John says that he just got a Kiesel Zeus probably a ZM7 headless guitar. Nice, mate.
Is that going to be a 7-string then?
I don't know.
Nice. I did my first record. Well, in fact, technically, you did your first recording on my Quad Cortex last week.
Oh yeah.
And it sounded good, didn't it? You even liked my preset, which you tweaked a little bit, and you taught me how to use. And you taught me how to use my own thing.
It's good, isn't it? It's what a cool piece of equipment. What a great thing to have around as well, and also use as an interface at the same time.
Yeah, it was awesome, wasn't it? It was really good.
Really good. Such a great little unit. David says, I went to see Malmsteen gig once. Utterly terrifying technique. Utterly boring concert.
Yep, I have seen him in concert as well. I saw him in where did I see him? I think it was in Los Angeles. Just like.
I went to NAMM once, and I think it was the first time I went to NAMM, and actually I'm going to say it. I shouldn't actually say this, but because we told a little Porky Pie, we went to the Soft Tube booth. No, well, I think I was doing a bit of work for Soft Tube at the time,
right? And
Russ was obviously for working with Production Expert, and Soft Tube said, "Oh, we've got you tickets to go and see Ingve tonight somewhere." And me and Russ were like, "Oh, that sounds a bit of a laugh." And then we went, "Should we go?" And then Russ made out that I was sick or being ill or something. And yeah, we didn't go. So sorry, Soft Tube, for buying those tickets. But I don't think Ingve. I think because it's a Swedish thing, Soft Tube Swedish, Ingve.
I thought he was Finnish.
No, I think he's Swedish.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's Swedish. Okay. Anyway. Where are we? Bruce, most latency is in the internet itself, and no local hardware can overcome that. Well, that's what I thought.
Me too. Yeah.
But there might be a way of. I can't understand it.
You can't buffer because any buffering is going to be more latency. I don't know how Source Elements do it, but I mean they get ludicrously low latency numbers over two-way traffic, to the point where you could be recording on my Pro Tools system locally, but it's your microphone and your Pro Tools system, your end. Wow. So there's some cleverness going on. I just am not that smart.
Yeah.
As I said plenty of times last week, we're pretty clever. We can overcome this. That is not something I can work out.
I love Shahbar. Shahbar, here he comes. Do either of you have experience with amplifier, not penis, or stereotone?
No, I have no idea what wang or stereo or stereotone are.
So stereotone are made. They're like a hand-built valve amplifier that's made. I can't think where it is. I think it's somewhere, possibly Korea, Indonesia, maybe around that sort of area.
Right.
And I do appreciate there's quite a large area that I'm.
Yes.
But it's supposed to be really, really good. They make copies of amplifiers and stuff. Stereotone do I was quite interested at some point because they did. Dr. Z makes a really great amplifier, and I can't remember the name of it now. And Seritone do a copy of it. So no, I've never tried one, mate, but it's supposed to be really good and quite reasonable.
Nice. Well done.
Oh, hold on. Oh man, I've done it again.
Bruce Brooks.
Yes, yeah, I know, but I've scrolled down and I've lost everything. Okay, got it. Bruce says, actually, if you can see it, why don't you read it out? Why am I reading everything out?
I don't know.
Unbelievable. Only way to sync online is that player 1 sends signal to player 2, and then player 2 plays along and sends his feed to player 3. Only last one in line is actually live. That's right. That's the only way that I can see it working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, there might be a way to magically jump on some mythical carrier signal inside the internet that might give you lower than low latency to do. I don't know. I'm not that smart.
Shaharbar says, at Bruce Brooks, Yngwie is over the top, but he's a brilliant composer at heart. I completely agree. He is a brilliant composer. Check out his concert with the Japanese orchestra. It would change your mind. There's no question the guy is a virtuoso and a genius. There's no question about that, but it's just his...
Yeah, you know. I think we're going to come on to personalities in a minute.
Are we... Anyway, Yngwie's on the show next week.
And we'll pass on all your comments.
Okay, let me see. David Olson, 3 reasons I'd never buy a PRS. 1, Paul. 2, Reed. 3, Smith. Amazing. Sorry, but I can't abide the man. Oh, but it's they do make amazing guitars. I actually quite like him, but they do make amazing guitars.
I couldn't believe that for such a high quality level, they churn out 1,800 guitars a month.
Well, I've been waiting about 5 months for mine, and that's ordering direct.
Part timer, 5 month waiting list for a piece of kit. Nah.
Can't wait though. Yeah, they do make, but PRS do make. For me, the 3 main guitar companies now are Fender, Gibson, and PRS.
Yeah, probably right. In only 30 years of existence.
The guy makes great guitars. You can't deny. I did the video today with my DGT, and I picked it up and just went, God, the build quality of this is ridiculous. It's so good. And
yet you still bought a Les Paul.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. Bruce Brooks, I bought a Harley Benton for laughs and giggles just to check out the hype. TE90 Tele Thinline copy with P90s, nice, not bad, but it needed to do a level crown and polish to make it really playable. But I think you'd expect that from a cheap guitar like that, wouldn't you? I think I would.
Yeah.
Nice one, Bruce. Yeah, good. Bruce Brooks says, David Olson, I agree that Paul might come across as a bit arrogant. Easy.
Not Paul, you, mate.
I know it.
He does. Not you, mate.
He might come off as a bit arrogant, but I have 2 of his guitars, 1 Core and one SE, and they really are fine guitars. They certainly are fine guitars. Build quality, ridiculously good. Very good.
Yeah, even on their 2nd and 3rd level of instrument, you know, they're still good guitars. Really great guitars, yeah.
The Ibanez GB10, I guess that's a George Benson.
I think so, yeah.
Is my dad's dream guitar. Turning 65, but maybe I might be able to find one for 70. Oh, nice one.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, nice one. I wonder where you're from. I wonder if it costs more, because certain guitars cost completely different amounts.
Wildly different amounts in different countries, and often that's due to local taxes. I know that Brazil. I don't think we have any Brazilian listeners or watchers. Their taxes are absolutely horrific on musical gear. It's like 70-80% on the price. It's horrendous.
Wow. Mike Pinion says that's a Brian Setzer model, orange.
It's very nice. We were talking about the orange wide body jumbo.
There isn't a cheap Brian Setzer though.
It was definitely an electromatic. It was definitely orange, and I really liked it.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Dave Pitt 11 says, I like my Harley Benton T better than my 90s Fender Strat. Awesome. Just bought a Grotte, maybe?
Grotte.
335 style for stupidly little money. It looks great, but plays just okay. Awesome.
That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter is, if I want a 335 that plays mostly like a 335, I've already got one. But if I want a 335, I haven't got one.
David Olson says, on a similar note, I'd never buy a Chapman either.
I think you've got a good point there. Did I just say that out loud? Didn't I?
You did.
I did. I just think I hope I never have to backtrack as hard. Enough said.
Slick. Okay. Keith says, if you like lap steel, give a listen to German chap Luke Cyrus. Go to Zay. Oh, I like that. Nice one.
Go to Zay even.
On
even if it's not, he should call himself that.
Definitely. We'll do that. We'll check that out.
Yeah,
Cheers,
definitely.
Keith. Alexander Knutson says, amazing. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, boys. I'll look into the 1176 for color. Do you have any chains that you like for recording acoustic guitars as well?
Oh, that's easy.
Go
on. Myberg M1.
Right.
Which is just...
yeah, but let's come. Yeah.
No, all right. To be fair, a good condenser, it could be any large diaphragm condenser realistically, into a really clean pre, like an API pre. You just get that zing. You get a much nice. Whereas I think of Neve pre's for smoky music, like darker sounds. API pre's for bright sounds.
Interesting. Yeah, just a large diaphragm condenser for me. Into more or less any preamp. Preamps, I'm getting less and less bothered about as I get older. I think I went through the stage of just buying preamp after preamp, and then realised they don't sound very different.
I've got 24 of them here on the console, and I love them all.
Yeah,
equally. But I do like the Neves for some things.
Where are we? Okay, yes, David's just correcting a spelling mistake. Yeah, we understood what you meant.
We got
there. Alexander says that's incredibly helpful. Anytime, mate. John Wallace says yes, it is a 7-string.
I thought it might be with the 7 in the code.
Yeah. Stephen James says still wanting a Marshall SV20 vintage. Been checking out at its attenuators, but yeah, is the Bugera SD1 any good for $100? Wow, that's cheap. People say the amp already has one, but that only brings it down to 5 watts, which is too low for gigging.
See, now, it's funny. Now, I was, if you look at the Bugera stuff, you go, ooh, but that's going to be nice. Then you find out where it comes from, and I just have that problem at that point, and I go, do you know what? I don't think I could buy this.
Where's it come from?
The name that we shall not utter.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, they're owned by him.
And
okay. that's where the problem kicks in, because if it might sound great for 25 minutes,
then yeah. So James is referring to a rather large German instrument manufacturer,
high-tech instrument manufacturer, who are known for owning a photocopier.
Oh, very good for copying other people's designs and stuff.
I just said they had. I just said they had a photocopier.
I think if you're going to spend money, what I would do, Stephen, is I'll buy the SV20. Now you're buying a nice amp. It's a nice amp. It sounds fantastic. See if you need the attenuator. Personally, I think if you're using it for gigging, I don't think you're going to need the attenuator. I think you'll be fine. You'd be surprised how loud that 5 watts is. But It's not. The thing is, between with these sort of amps, when you've got a setting of 20 watts and you switch down to 5 watts, you don't go, oh, that's a quarter of the volume.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
work like
It
that.
doesn't do that.
No,
You lose the headroom. Primarily.
exactly. You're losing headroom. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Buy the amp, see if you need it, and then I would honestly say get yourself a decent attenuator because they make a massive difference. There's a massive difference between a cheap attenuator and a decent one.
I've gigged with big amps and I've been told to turn it down. I've gigged with small amps and been told to turn it up. And on the small amp, when you turn it up, you go, yes, because the amp's really getting into its stride and starting to warm up. And you go, yeah, this sounds amazing. Whereas you get a big amp and everyone says, turn it down, you're killing us in the first 5 rows. And you just go, let's sing here.
Don't worry about it, mate. Just go for it. John Wallace says he plans to use it. This is his Kiesel. He plans to use it for neo soul and some djenting. Awesomes. It's going to be versatile.
Yeah.
Daniel S says, James, are you in a new space? Sorry, I've been away for a while.
Yes, I am. A month. I've been here now. This is actually our living room. Obviously, at the moment, it's not. It's my studio. While the new room is designed and built and stuff like that, or the new studio is designed and built. I have a meeting with the builders, designers this week to hopefully get a planning application done next week. So I should be well on the way to some form of basically giving my family the big living room back so they can have a big telly and they can all chill out.
Nice.
That's the plan,
Okay. Alfredo Guevara says, thanks, mate. Your videos help me out a lot with the Boss Katana. Now I sculpt my own patches the way I like. Greetings from Peru. Please make a tutorial on the wave synth. Oh, nice one. I'm really glad that
Peru. Let's go there first.
Yeah, it's a first, isn't it? First man
Awesome.
from Peru. Alfredo, yeah, that's the idea about those videos is to try and get people to create their own patches as opposed to buying patches. Mind you, if you do want to buy a patch, no, but it's that's the whole idea of that is because it's to try and educate's the wrong word, but to try and help people.
Educate is the right word.
Is it? Yeah, we don't educate. I'm going to educate you sounds a bit pretentious.
No, but to say you're going to empower sounds.
Empower. That's the word.
But does that not sound even more pretentious? I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to empower you to do something. That sounds very avid.
Oh no, okay, fair enough. That does sound a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Shahar says, blind people love Yngwie.
No comment, but who ate all the pies? Who ate all the pies? Wing-Fei Malmsteen, he ate all the pies.
I don't think he's fat anymore, but I like the song. I like the song. I had a Gibson 339, but it started to delaminate around one of the F-holes, so I got rid of it. So much for Gibson quality, sticking to my PRS and vendors. Wow. PRS is that's not good, is it? Get something that's delaminating. Unless you play in the bath or something, I guess. But thank you again so much for your insight. Alexander says, cheers, mate. Gents, don't forget about the SR Clean on the Verge of Breakup t-shirt. Oh, yes. We need to do that, don't we?
You do. You're on fire with the YouTube merch down there somewhere.
I'm gonna. Hold on.
Clean on the Verge of Breakup, and surely on the back it says, "Take a drink."
Hold on. I'm writing a little note to myself. What about just clean on the verge? I quite like that. Okay. Anyway.
No, it's got to be clean on the verge of breakup.
Okay. No.
Clean ... on the verge of breakup.
Nice. Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I'd forgotten about that. The name that shan't be mentioned. Any clues, please? Intrigued. Behringer.
It starts with B and ends in Ehringer.
The best thing about your Katana patch videos is that they turned me onto your YouTube channel. Oh, cheers, Bruce.
What about my Katana patch video?
No one gives a shit about that.
Thanks. If you like,
I'd love to see a studio tour when completed. Yes, I think James that's going to be one of the first things. Can you imagine him? Can you imagine him going, I'm not going to show anyone around my new studio that I'm incredibly proud of?
There's actually going to be an entire series of videos through the making and the build process, because actually I think this is going to be very interesting for a lot of people.
Where are you going to post this? Is this going to go on
Sure, yeah.
Oh, nice, great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't go on the other one.
They want them. I don't work for them. Well, occasionally. They don't pay enough. You don't pay at all. The new room is going to be no corners cut, but it's going to be very sensibly built and designed. I've had quotes of over £100,000 for what I want, which I don't care how you cut it. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of dosh.
And I don't have that much dosh. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a chunk because of selling the old house and releasing some to buy the new house and keep some away for the new studio. So I've got a chunk, but I don't have 100 grand to spend on a new building. Who does? Unless you are starting Abbey Road, somewhere, a big facility. I think the person who gave me that quote might have got the wrong idea about what I wanted. But this is going to be pretty epic. I'm pulling in a lot of favors, but at the same time, I'm not pulling any punches or cutting any corners. It's going to be stunning. Obviously, there are things that are in my spec that probably won't be in yours if you're building such a room. And actually, it's the nitty-gritty of things. Like, I want USB sockets in the ceiling. I want HDMI all over the place. I want lighting points all over the place. I want networking in places where you wouldn't have thought you needed it. Power, because at some point I can think I'm probably going to end up with some kind of Atmos rig or Atmos, depending on where you're from. I'm going to have 2 bars of Tri-Light running through the studio, so I can hang cameras and lights anywhere, and they'll be powered, and there'll be PowerPoints, and there'll be dimmers, and it'll be lit beautifully for filming. And I want somewhere a bit like, the room Martin Miller records his band in.
Yeah.
Something like that, but a bit more studio and a bit less library.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with his space. I'd give body parts for his space, but I want somewhere where a whole band can walk in and go, right, let's play.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the plan, and film it at the same time, and not have to worry about, oh no, we need to run some cables for cameras, and it'll all be there. It'll all be set up, ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Paul would love to have a studio tour of your room now. I did a studio tour fairly recently, actually. I tend to do one a year because things change so much.
You move around the building, don't you?
Yeah, I get bored. I mean, I'm bored now, to be honest. I need something to invigorate me again. But yeah, I quite like the outlook because over there I've got a big window that I can overlook the garden stuff. So it's quite nice. But yes, I think I need something to invigorate me again.
My current space is brilliant because I'm in the living room. It's about 3.5 meters wide. It's 7 meters long, so it's really big. So obviously, you see, I've got the drums in. The place is a tip because we've just landed after this big show at the weekend. I've got the Tatrix gobos in, so if I want to block the drums off from that side, I can do it. It's remarkably good, actually, the separation when I put them all properly and line it all up. But the biggest problem I've got for filming is directly behind the screen in front of me is a 2.5 meter wide patio door. So after about 10 o'clock, I can't film in here because all I end up doing is I look like a silhouette. No matter how much light I push this way, I'm still in silhouette against that window. So
yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? I don't know if I can say Shahar Bar's next one. Are we allowed to say that? Oh, well, it's fine. Shahar Bar says, just a rumor, but I heard that Behringer used to be.
No, you can't say that. You can't.
I can't say that.
You can't
say that. Okay. But was forced to change the name now, subjecting us to shoddy clones of brand name products.
The truth of the matter is, Shahar, he wouldn't have a business model if people didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And he's got a business model, and he's got one that's working very successfully for him. Whether you admire his morals, that's neither here nor there, unfortunately. He is making a lot of money, And there are some good products coming out of that place. The keyboards, whether you like them or not, they are selling them by the container load.
The keyboards are supposed to be good, but again, they're copies.
Of course they are.
But he finds out what people want, and he produces it in a cheaper way.
Yeah, and whether you agree with it or not, and personally I don't, but I wouldn't mind being a penny behind him. I don't want to get there the same way, but I wouldn't mind financially being a penny behind him.
Okay, this is brilliant. Bruce Brooks says, you guys are obviously in different parts of England and don't share a studio. So just curious how you hooked up with each other. Shahab says, Grinder.
I was about to say my normal story. I said, well, Paul answered an ad I put on the gents' toilet wall.
Same thing.
We actually met, and I don't think you remember this. We actually met at a Production Expert event at Red Bull Studios, where you came and my band were playing at the Sontronics event.
Yeah, okay.
We met there. You'd been doing some Production Expert stuff before that, but we actually met then. And then about 6-7 weeks later, I ended up coming over to Visilord to meet
Holland.
you and the DWB guys.
Yeah, nice.
And I think we chatted about playing and stuff, and I already realised that you could actually play, which is always a bonus. And I think our friendship blossomed.
Oh, nice.
No, I think we started talking about the Studio Rats and an idea and about playing together and just doing something. And you had a bass player in tow, and that's how it happened. Crazy as it seems.
But we come as a pair on Grindr.
Yeah.
That's Jamie. My kind of space. Speaking as a drummer, would love an area to jam with bands exactly like Miller's. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? That's studio that's big enough to have a band in there. Mm-hmm. So, and also because it happens so much, doesn't it, that you get asked, "Oh, you've got to go and film. Can you try and find a studio to go and film in?" And you go, "Well, you don't need to. You film in mine. You charge for that as well." Brilliant.
Yeah. But I mean. Oh, hello. Someone home?
No, that's my camera telling me someone's in my studio.
Oh, it's you.
It's me. Yeah.
I mean, the Martin Miller room looks amazing, but I want it to be permanently like that. So I not so many keyboards. I'm not that much of a keyboard dude, but I want to have a bass, a guitar, and a drum rig set up all the time, ready to rock and roll. So at any point, I can just hit go on the cameras and run it. It'd be great. Nice. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
David says, Paul, when you did the Metal Zone video, when the pedal was in the loop, was the guitar going directly into the pedal or into the amp? Preamp? Yeah, so the guitar was going into the input of, I can't remember what I was plugged into. Was it the amp one?
The Katana, wasn't it? Katana,
no,
wasn't it?
I think it was a Cortex.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever amp I was going into, let's just say amp, Cortex, whatever,
yeah.
Or proper amplifier. So yes, I was going into the input of that said amplifier and then running the Metal Zone into, it was the Quad Cortex, into the effects send and return. So basically, and there was no amp model inside the Quad Cortex, so it was basically using the Metal Zone as the
preamp.
As a preamp, exactly.
Yeah.
Preamp. Shahab R says, love you guys. Thank you for taking our questions. Always a blast listening to you too. Cheers, mate. Always a blast having your questions as well. They're slightly racy sometimes.
We don't mind that. We don't take this too seriously. I mean, we take it seriously as in we want to give the right answers, but at the end of the day, we're two guys on a YouTube channel.
Keith says, what do you use for HVAC?
Yes.
HVAC in your spaces?
Heating, ventilation, air conditioning.
Oh, is it an American term? Is it
HVAC? No, it's the shortened
building
term. I know a lot of building terms and building regs terms these days. Right. So my old studio, I had a basic, quite cheap, and I mean about 700 quid AC unit. The outside condenser and the inside fan thing. And it was a bit noisy, but it got cold. It was cold, and that's the important thing. The new one, I've actually spec'd it with a Mitsubishi, really good, couple of grand one
Yeah.
that does heating and cold, but it does it really quietly. It's stupidly quiet, so I can have it on all the time and not sweat. Right now in this room, I've got a minimal amount of kit on. The desk's on, a couple of interfaces, the computer, and it's warm in here. The other bonus, of course, is that I can at least open the patio doors and open the window that and get a through draft.
Yeah,
And it genuinely is like mixing in an open free field because there's nothing behind the speakers and it's lovely.
nice. Yeah. I've got this LG AC unit that I use. That's quite nice.
LG, yeah, it's the hot and cold ones are good because they've got a better condenser in them because they have to do hot rather than just doing cold. The ones that just do cold don't last that long.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Bruce says some of the best parts of Miller's videos are his guest performers.
Agreed. He is good, but he needs to lose the tash, in my opinion. He looks a bit too much like a poor man's Freddie Mercury with a guitar. Great player, but great player. That's not great player, great band. The drummer, other than being an awkward lefty, I love watching him because he's so smooth. Very smooth. I don't know who the guy is, but he's very smooth.
Shahar Bar says, and this is Shahar's opinion, says, do not buy Behringer AC units or ovens. They don't do AC units, do they?
They probably do. So the amazing thing about Behringer as a company, where many British manufacturers will get a Chinese OEM company to manufacture their box and put a badge on it, Behringer don't. Behringer own their own factory, town almost, in China.
Yeah.
Which is why there are production lines of X32s and X32 minis and producers, and they could churn them out when they realised they had such a huge hit on their hands. They could churn them out so quick,
right?
Because they just said to the factory, "Stop building keyboards and make X32s."
Ah, okay.
And when you own your own Chinese village, it's impressive. Truth be told, most of the Pro Audio kit in China comes from about 3 factories.
Right.
If you are an owner of a Pro Audio brand and you go to visit the Chinese factory, there's a fair chance that as you're wandering around, that you'll see boxes of other brands, of your competitors' brands being built in the same factory with the same components and the same chips and the same everything. Your design, of course, but let's not say that everyone's gear is built in their own factory anymore. It ain't. Even Apple have OEM components.
Such a shame. Okay, last couple. David says Behringer own TC now. They do.
They do.
They definitely do,
and have done for a long time.
Yeah, good few years.
Oh, 5, at least 5.
Even it's been that long now. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Bruce says, James, don't you dare make fun of lefties.
Bruce, I am a lefty. Just because I play guitar right-handed and I play drums right-handed doesn't mean I can't lead with my left hand, which is very handy as a drummer, leading right-handed and left-handed. So, yeah, don't give lefties a hard time. I am one. So, solidarity, brother, and all that.
Okay, so that's it.
We're done. We are done for another week. We survived, and well done for sticking with us. I have no idea.
Yeah, what happened with the football? Anyone know the result
idea.
before we go?
I have no idea, and I don't think they're finished yet. Because not quite. No, 20 minutes for half time.
Oh,
They weren't finished yet, so I might just go in and catch the end.
Oh, it's exciting.
I'll go and watch penalties because that's how it'll end up, and then we'll lose.
Probably. That's probably what's going to happen. The what ball? It's 1-1.
Oh, it's 1-1. Okay, fair enough.
1-1 as it's also known.
Yes, 1-1. Well, thank you for keeping us up to date. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight. Not so many in, but hey, we kind of knew it was going to be a quiet one, didn't we?
We knew it was.
We knew it was. So thank you to Mr. Paul Drew, all the way down there in downtown Surrey, England. I'll be over to see you. I'll be over to see you next week when we've all recovered from the craziness of Bournemouth. The ball's the wrong shape. Yeah, you're probably right, Max. Actually,
but hold on a second. Let's just talk about that. It's a ball. Balls around.
And also, football came first technically because rugby school was developed when someone sat on the ball and they squished the ball and they carried it. So
True?
That's absolutely true. It was football first, then rugby.
American football, but anyway.
Yeah, that's not football. Do we have to say soccer now because it's our sport?
No. It came. Did it come from England? I'm sure it did.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Stay safe and all that. It's so nice. We haven't got to say stay safe, won't it? Take care, and we'll see you again next week for more shenanigans.
Cheers, guys.
Take care, everyone.